Welcome into KSL Sports Rewind and Copper Hills basketball presented by Ken Garf, only on KSLSports.com, as the Copper Hills Grizzlies in the midst of Region 3 play prepare to host the Bingham Miners. Thank you for joining us, everyone. My name is Dane Stewart. Please be joined by Dallas Saxton. And Coach, we've got a great matchup tonight. Great rivalry, Bingham, Copper Hills, and pivotal here in Region 3.
I'm excited to see these teams go at it. You know, I've always loved Bingham basketball and Copper Hills basketball. Always, I would say, rich program history, and always like to go at it.
It's what makes this rivalry so special when you talk about that history and you think of all the big-time battles in regions and in playoffs. Let's start by introducing the Bingham Miners. They come in 3-2 in region play. They lost to Copper Hills in the first matchup, but they're headlined. Well, they got some guys that can score the basketball. You look at the freshman, Luke West, a guard. He's been spectacular. Carson Bagley as well. They each average 11 points per game. Tuller with 10. And Braden Whitehead, the big man, averaging 7 per game. They got a lot of guys that can score offensively.
One thing I've learned, too, with some of these teams, and, you know, you want to be poised to make a deep state run when you get production from your younger guys. You know, being around the game as long as I have, I've learned that, you know, when you can go 9-10 deep in high school basketball, you put yourself in a good position to be successful. It
makes a big difference. Copper Hills wearing the whites as the tip controlled by Bingham. And look, this Copper Hills group, 4-1 through the first round of region play, still within region title. Really, both these two teams are. And we got a freshman-on-freshman matchup because that young man right there, Isaiah Reiser, he's going to be special when his time's done.
I like him. You know, one thing I love about walking in this gym tonight, you know, being on the broadcast with you, was the energy. The energy that's going to be fed all night. Letting these young guys shine, spotlight. It's great. The lights are on tonight.
That was a long two on the attempt by Widehour. Missed it. Bingham with the clear. As here is Tuller. We talked about him in the open. Ooh, risky pass there, but turn around. Good. First bucket for Luke West. Reiser bringing it up into the front court here, handing off. This is Pomerantine. He had the defensive assignment on Whitehead in that first matchup. They'll play him in the block tonight. Howick looking for Josh. Going up. Nice take there by Pomerantine.
Nice soft touch. Love a nice soft touch around the rim.
We talked about he had to deal with Whitehead, and boy, if you're Copper Hills and he's going at him like that, that's a good early sign for the Grizz. Bagley nearly had it taken away. Hymas with the steal. Up ahead. Oh. Logan Widehour, more accustomed to shooting, but he gets that one to drop.
There you go. He had me fooled. I thought he was going to throw the flush, you know, one-handed flush there.
Another deflection here. That Copper Hills defense active early, Dallas.
I love it. You know, I always taught when I coached, you know, we played the pack line defense. It was, you know, the importance was being in passing lanes, right? Deflections, being longer than you are.
Open look here for West. The three, count it good. Big made three for the freshman. Talk about just a freshman. Luke West, 43% from beyond the arc this year for Bingham. He can be dynamic from long range. And there's Whitehead defending the rim, blocked away.
You know, going back to your Luke West comment, walking in the gym, watching him warm up, the kid's just poised. You can tell he's confident in his game. He knows his shots. I love it.
I don't know if he was slated to get a lot of minutes this year with, you know, Ace Reiser thought was going to be coming back. He transfers and now opens up that opportunity. The freshman's really taking advantage of it for Bingham.
Hey, I'm impressed early on. This is my first time ever seeing this kid play live, and I'm very impressed.
Copper Hills to inbound. Reiser looking for Pomerantine. The Grizzlies ready to set up. They'll hand off. Howick. Widehour tried to get it back. Good hand. Stays here. Bingham a little out of sorts defensively. Now back in position. Zone look here. Reiser just short. And that one out. It's going to stay here. Good call there. Zone defense here early for Bingham. Officials here discussing, I think clarifying maybe a shot clock clarification here because they reset it, and I don't know that Bingham ever really had possession.
Yeah, I don't think so. Looks like it was deflected out, but nobody gained possession of that. So,
and they're going to leave it at 32. I guess they're saying Whitehead might have had his hands on it. Who knows? Inbound deflected, Bingham. Ooh, Reiser nearly picked the pocket. Ooh, carrying violation. You don't see those every night, huh?
Not every night, no. Hey, and going back to that last defensive stand, I think about this all the time. Inbound plays under the basket, right? Having the ball out close to the basket, I used to always tell my guys, it's got to be a prime opportunity to score and not lead to a turnover.
Pomerning out to Widehour. He's trying to take advantage with a drive, but steps out. Turnover here for Copper Hills.
2 in a row, back to back.
Yeah.
Those are costly.
We got a packed house tonight in the den. The student section showing up for Copper Hills. Not bad for Bingham either. Here's high post, underneath West. Oh, and it goes. Count the bucket for Luke West. He's got all 7 points.
Man, this kid came to play tonight, right? All areas of his game. Perimeter shooting, finishing under the rim with some contact. You got to love a well-rounded player.
And I love that you go high post there to Whitehead and open up that underneath, right? Let your guard slip under. No height to protect the rim. Nice finish. 8-4 advantage for Bingham. Widehour in the corner, left alone, but off the mark. Offensive board tipped out by Hymas. I think maybe slow to reset the shot clock? I don't know. Reiser. Pomerning. Howard trying to float it up and in.
Love it. I always teach these guys I work with, it's an unguardable shot. Nice little soft teardrop in the lane.
Here's Whitehead trying to back down Pomerning. Going off the glass, won't go, gets his own miss. Second attempt won't go, third, and it's good for Braden.
It's one way to get those rebounding stats up right there, right?
That's the most aggressive I have seen Braden be. I mean, he's going right at Pomerning. Tough pass, kept in. Copper Hills has it. Hymas for 3, off the mark.
West is everywhere tonight. Already a couple offensive boards even.
Oh, and Hymas.
Defensive boards, excuse me.
Kyson the other end. Boy, and who was back there? It was Luke West to defend. Blocked away at the rim. And the physicality will get a foul called here on Copper Hills. Boy, back and forth, end-to-end action here. Hymas picking up his first here. West on the inbound. To the floor, no whistle. We'll head the other way. Oh, and the hands there of Caden Jensen called. It'll be the first team foul, first personal on Caden. We'll call that on the shot. Wow.
That one surprises me a little bit. This game right now, though, it's looking like a track meet. I love it. Up and down, high tempo, high energy.
Yeah.
Lots of deflections. Lots of guys getting after it on both ends of the ball.
Defense have been very active.
Very.
I like to tease people. The official rule is on habitual shooting motion as to whether it's a shooting foul or not. So I just tease people, just create your habit to be as long and drawn out as you can, right? Just say, hey, that's my habit. That's my habit. And it works there for Whitehour as he goes 2 for 2.
Hey, that's why I tell kids, hold the follow through. Maybe it'll work out in your favor.
There you go. There you go. 10-8. Boy, Copper Hill's done a great job hanging around. So it feels like there's a lot of early momentum with Bingham.
A lot early, too. Like you said, I feel like Bingham offensively has gotten a lot better quality possessions.
Yeah. Back in the post. Whitehead, good patience there. Here's Pommerning. Want to apologize. Got a little technical issue. We're trying to work through that for you. As that rebound couldn't be secured. Bingham on the run. Up the floor quickly. Jensen, pump fake and the drive, but just short. Oh, boy, how about the dual possession there?
I love it. I love it. Every possession matters right now to these kids.
And it will be, we'll call it a certified fleet management dual possession. And it will be Bingham basketball on the inbound and a foul. And it's your guy, Coach. First free throw coming up here for Luke West. (13-8) the advantage here. West at the line.
2 for 2 from the line. Big free throws. I always tell people these high school games come down to free throws, right? Free throws and a game of turnovers.
Boy, tough pass. Copper Hill's able to secure it. We've got whistles here. Boy, and tell you what, Coach Watkins right now is none too pleased with what's happening. Now we've got, I don't know what's happening. They're coming back on this end. I don't know if they're wondering if there was some moisture or what. Shot clock will be at 19. There's 2:15 to go here. And it will be Copper Hills basketball. Sui on the floor.
Denied at the rim. Great defense.
On the inbound in the backcourt, here's Hymas. Shot clock inside of 10. Reiser, little spin move. Boy, no call there.
No call.
It's Bingham basketball.
This is an interesting game to me. It's very intense, very physical. I feel like there's some things that maybe haven't been called that in any other game would be. Maybe they're letting them play a little more with the region rivalry. I never know with these things, but it's definitely been a highly physical game thus far.
That one dribbled off the foot. Hymas with it. On the run. Here's Reiser. Transition three. Won't go. Boy, that's been an aspect for Copper Hills that they've found in later games. There's a three on this end as Alex Karchner hits the triple, and the lead is 9 for Bingham.
It's always tough when a missed transition shot leads to a transition shot for the other team, and that was that result right there.
Copper Hills has started to shoot the three ball well as of late, but tonight they've not been able to find it. Sui looking in the paint. Another deflection. Hand on the ball by Jensen. Batted around, and Bingham has it. And a foul here going to be called on West.
You know, I'm so caught up in the action of this game right now. But early on, I feel like, back to your point you made earlier, everything for Copper Hills right now is hard. It's forced. You know, they're getting to the paint, but getting a lot of deflections, a lot of contested shots.
How do you try to ease into that? What do you do to try to help them get more comfortable here?
You know, I like a series of maybe some motion offense, setting some ball screens, more cutting, you know. Good finish there.
Not a bad look from the corner, but you got to love Sui getting inside, getting the offensive board and put back.
Absolutely. Being able to finish around the rim with a little defense.
Going right now, Bingham continues to open up that paint. That one just left off the front of the rim.
And going back to your point earlier, right, there's not really any help side there. I mean, that should have been a finish through a little bit of light contact, but Copper Hills will definitely have to make some defensive adjustments.
We've got whistles here. I think we had a shot clock reset, but I don't think it mattered. It was inside of the 35. So that they will inbound here with 7 seconds to go. Shot clock turned off. Substitutions here as Pomeranian coming on the floor, as does Boston Lamborn, the sophomore. And now Lamborn coming off. Boy, there's all sorts of. 7 seconds to go. Handed off to Pomeranian. Reiser the drive. Strong off the glass. Tip up won't go. And the quarter expires. End of one. Bingham leads Copper Hills 17-10.
Look at that. Bingham student section's filled out a little more.
Welcome back. Start of the second quarter. Dane Stewart, Dallas Saxton with you. We appreciate your patience. We're still working on our scoreboard graphic. We'll do a better job of updating you time and score. 17-10 as we start this second quarter. Coach, anything that stood out to you in quarter number one?
You know, I really love the level of play Bingham's playing at right now. You know, I was looking through stats and things you had sent me, and I'm just so impressed with the energy they're playing with. They don't look like the record shows right now.
Yeah, we'll get into that record because it is a bit deceiving. It's a traveling violation here. It was Jason Peterson with the block on the other end, but this is a group that started off, I think, 0-5, 0-6. They've really started to find themselves, especially in region play. They've been playing a lot better. They've got some nice wins. They lost to Riverton by 1, lost to Copper Hills by 2 in overtime. Like, they have found their groove, have the Miners, to your point.
And to my, what we were talking about earlier, you know what, they've already gone 4 guys deep on their bench, you know, like, yep. I love the rotation right now.
And I love Kyson there, recognizing
great finish.
They need some offense, right?
Some offense. More of that, right? Like we talked about.
Yep.
Easy paint, looks, nothing forced. Great basket take there.
Well, and with Whitehead on the bench, like, attack the paint, right? The big man's off the floor. Blocked. Lamborn bringing it up. Here's Reiser. Good defense there by Tuller to take away that drive. Boy, look at how far Bingham's pushing everything out. Shot clock down to 15. Time here for Lamborn. Bagley defending him. They get it with Howick. Ashton trying to drive, takes the bump and scores.
Great finish.
Well, that's a tough shot for Ashton Howick.
You know, maybe Coach Watkins had a nice little conversation, whatever. You know, he drove through in between that quarter break. Grizzlies looking like a different team in the second quarter.
Another made Bingham three, this one by Peterson, but Copper Hills does look more aggressive with the basketball.
Absolutely.
6 minutes to go here, second quarter. 20-14, the advantage for the Miners. Trying to get revenge after they fell to Copper Hills in overtime, 62-60. The winner of this game still has a shot at region. As that one deflected out by Bingham. Substitutions for the Miners as Luke West will come on the floor, as does Caden Jensen and Braden Whitehead. Riser to inbound, Howick. Inside, Pomerantz just short. West. Kicked out, Jensen the three. Won't go. Welcome sight for Grizzlies fans.
You know, I love that Bingham's not shied away from playing the switch man defense. You know, they're confident, obviously, at every level. They're not worried about who's guarding who. You know, you got guys switching here a little bit.
Well, to your point, they seem like they're all on the same page, right? There's great help all over the floor as the drive there. Copper Hills wanted a foul. They'll get a loose ball foul here, not the one on the shot. West picking up his second. He had 10 points in the first quarter, Luke West.
I think that's impressive, you know.
A freshman.
I'm still baffled that he's a ninth grader. You know, he's playing like a senior. He's playing like a 3 or 4 year starter would. He's very poised. He's playing within himself, and he's getting his team involved. You know, he's not forcing the issue.
Yeah.
And I feel like that age thing, sometimes kids want to do that, right? They feel like they have to do more.
How about the vision of Hymas to find Lamborn? Approaching the midway point here in our second quarter, and Jensen called for the carry. I've seen a lot more carry calls in the second half of the season.
And for whatever reason, we've already seen 2 tonight, right?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, I coached for 5 years, 6 years at high school level. I can't remember seeing 2 maybe in my whole stint there.
Here's Lamborn. I'll tell you, I think Copper Hills is feeling like there's a lot of contact that's not being called tonight. And look, you got to adjust to it, right?
Absolutely.
Hymas into the double team, passes out, deflected, will stay here. 4 seconds left on the shot clock.
And I think you teach your guys that, right? You want them to not play too much. There's only so much you can control. I understand the frustration of maybe not getting the calls that you would normally get on a regular night, but...
Here's Howick off the inbound. That throw is off the mark. Lamborn saves it. Oh, how about Riser? That's why you play on a balance beam as a kid, right there. Whitehead was having none of it. Kept here by Isaiah. Hymas trying to attack down the lane. Backside, Pomerantz. Too strong.
Man, another great look, though, right?
Yeah.
Finishing opposite side of the rim where defense isn't, where he can finish without any contest, and just a bad break on that. I love the look.
It's a 4-point game. It's 2016. Copper Hills still hanging in this one. A foul inside. Lamborn will pick it up, I think, his first.
And one thing I'm impressed about is the number of times, and I think you brought up earlier, that they're trying to get their guards touches in the paint, right? It's not just a big man's area.
Yeah.
A lot of guards even posting up, running back, picks forward, just trying to give them a lot of looks in that paint area.
Handed back to Jensen off the inbound. Extra pass, finding Bagley. He'll skip to the corner. Look at the quick ball movement here for Bingham. Copper Hills hanging around defensively. Masui Sui with the steal. Fast-paced action.
Hey, this is the energy we love, and here's the timeout, but what a game so far.
Timeout, Bingham. We'll step aside, be back. You're watching Copper Hills basketball presented by Ken Garf on KSLSports.com. Welcome back. 2016, two-pack student sections, loud, great environment. And Copper Hills will have the basketball. Oh, yeah. Dane Stewart, Dallas Saxton with you.
You know what's really fun about this energy in this environment? You have the physicality on the court, and you have the constant banter in the student sections. That's when you know the rivalry's real.
Right. Well, when you think about Copper Hills, the basketball program has been the face of this school for a long time. And you get a chance to sweep Bingham? Yeah.
And I've always known that with Copper Hills. When I was at Woods Cross with Coach Walkenhurst, Blanchard was running the show here and ran a great program. Lots of respect for Coach Blanchard and all that he did in his time as a coach. And Copper Hills has always been a great basketball school.
Copper Hills gets the stop they wanted. Pomerantine tries to drive, but there's the length of Whitehead disrupting the rhythm of that shot. Corner three, Wood, no. Another rebound here for Masui Sui. He's been great off the bench for Copper Hills in this first half.
Phenomenal. I love that these teams have guys that could come off the bench and produce.
Boy, Copper Hills doing a lot of back cutting. Pomerantine, again, that length making it tough. And a foul on this end. Coach, at some point, don't you just say, hey, it's okay to go into that contact and try to get fouls and get to the line? It feels like right now there's some hesitation to shy away from that contact.
Absolutely. I feel like right now Copper Hills, Bingham, both playing very physical, but Copper Hills is getting some decent looks in especially in the second quarter. And I feel like, finding ways to draw the whistle. I think Bingham's been the aggressor on that, right, all night. I feel like Bingham's found a way to play into the way that they know the refs are calling the game. And it's led to the advantage of them being up by 5 right now.
Tuller at the line, that was his first point. That went off the back of the rim, splits the trip. Final 2 minutes here of this first half. Hymas will hand off.
With the way this game has been, Dane, I wish this was like hockey. I wish we got 3 periods instead of just the 2 halves.
No kidding, huh? Well, you can see why the first matchup went to overtime. I mean, it's 2 teams that just battle. Deflected out. Will stay here with Copper Hills. Shot clock at 15. Bit of his own look. Boy, couldn't take advantage of it. Hymas the drive.
Oh,
that's what we're talking about, right? Go right at him. Hymas with the finish.
Great finish. Right through contact. Didn't alter his shot. Right through the chest of the defensive man.
And Bingham was a little slow to get in defensive positioning and allowed that lane to open up. I love Hymas. He's a senior, multi-year contributor, recognizing it. Able to take advantage as he misses the free throw. 3-point game.
You're going to want a guy like that right down the stretch.
Yes.
You're senior, leader, take control, be that guy for you.
Oh, that side opened up, and Tuller recognized it and attacked. Here's Hymas. Still in that zone. It's been the primary defense. Done a good job. Masui Sui, he's going to take the 3. That won't go.
like Coach Watkins went to something like a 5 out there, maybe.
Yeah.
Trying to spread the floor, open up some driving lanes, you know?
Yep.
Get them those opportunities to get to the basket.
Copperhill is able to get the stop. Masui Sui here, and the hedge there going to be called. Tueller picking it up. .37 seconds to go here. Substitutions for both sides. Alex Kartner on for Bingham. Whitehour on for Copper Hills. And right now, Whitehead coming off the floor. Do you attack the paint right here, Coach?
I think you do. You know, you remove, like, the paint stopper all night, right? He's forced a lot of different players to alter their shots already this evening. I think you look to attack. If you get the free throw line here and get a couple easy points from the charity stripe.
2-second differential. Shot clock to game clock. Game clock down to 22. 20 on the shot clock. Heim is content here to just take a little more time off the clock. Shot clock down to 10. Kyson attacking, drawing the contact, count it.
That's what we were talking about.
The foul on Peterson. I believe his first.
Going back to your point, Dane, in the last few possessions, right? 2 great takes by their senior leader here. I love it.
Kind of surprised they aren't bringing Whitehead on the floor here. But, I mean, it'd be the last possession on offense. 9 seconds left. He'll remain on the bench. Hymas with 7 points, all of them in the second quarter, and it's a 2-point contest.
That's a good way to respond after what seemed to be a flat first quarter.
And Reiser with the steal, and we're tied up. And now we've got the half's over because they stopped the clock. So they stopped the clock. The clock's not supposed to stop after a made bucket. The half is done. Isaiah Reiser with the crafty play late to tie it up.
Hey, what a game, right? Everything that, you think about, you talk about with a rivalry and on paper, this is exactly what you would expect out of this matchup being knotted up at half.
23-23, a Region 3 Classic before our eyes. You're watching Copper Hills basketball presented by Ken Garff on KSLSports.com.
Mountain Land Power Equipment provides exceptional service and high-quality brands you know and trust in lawn, landscaping, and snow removal products. Our experienced staff of technicians repair all types of snow plows, snow blowers, lawn mowers, small engines, and is trained to answer questions about lawn, garden, snow removal, and landscaping products. Mountain Land Power Equipment, now with 2 locations to serve you in Salt Lake City and Springville.
It's time for another round of Name That Sound! All right, contestants, name that sound. Lettuce. Oh, you think that sound is lettuce? I wish it was! David, our resident champion from Ken Garf.
That's the intern Dale, cracking ice for a soda. Correct.
And that's why you need a Ken Garf dealership. If they listen this well, imagine how well they'll hear you.
Welcome back. Start of the second half here. Copper Hills basketball is presented by Ken Garf. Also want to remind you, do you need plans for spring break? Register for Utah Jazz camps and clinics. Your child will receive the best instruction in the state along with a Jazz swag bag and a ticket voucher. Secure your child's spot today at utahjazzcamps.com to improve their basketball skill, get active, and have fun. Want to thank Jazz Basketball Camps for sponsoring KSL Sports Rewind. Dane Stewart, Dallas Saxton with you. Start of the second half, tied up, no more, as there's a freshman. He had 10 in the first, did not score in the second, Coach.
Hey, and Luke West, though, right, getting right back to where he was at in the first quarter. 10 points.
Yep.
Coming out strong, first play out of the second half.
He led all scorers in that first. Hymas right there had 7, but he picks up the offensive foul there, his second tonight. Going to ask you, Coach, seeing a half, if you're Bingham, if you're Copper Hills, what do you try to do here in half number 2 to get this victory?
You know, I'll start with Bingham. I think with Bingham, you continue to stay aggressive offensively. They're getting a lot of their guys involved. I've not seen the ball move like this in a high school basketball game in quite some time. I'm very impressed with how they're all getting touches. Copper Hills right now just needs to find a way to get back to what they did in the second quarter. I feel like in the first quarter, a lot of things were forced. There was a lot of forced passes, deflections, and it resulted in some costly turnovers. They found a way to scratch and claw their way back in, no pun intended with the Grizzlies there. But, you know, I feel like Copper Hills needs to go to their senior leader.
Hey, we're fans of puns. It's okay if it was intended. Whitehead blocked away inside, but Pomeranian going to be called with the foul. Wide arrow was called just a moment earlier, and an offensive foul. That's 3 quick fouls on Copper Hills here to start the second half.
And this is what you worry about, right? Getting guys in foul trouble, key players.
It will be Whitehead here to the line, shooting 2 for Bingham.
And we're less than we're 50 seconds into the second half, and you've already got 3 team fouls. I mean, at this rate, Bingham's going to be shooting in the bonus with 4 minutes left in this quarter.
Those are the games that we quote-unquote love, Coach. Whenever you get free throws in the first or third quarter, it's like, all right, it's going to be a long rest of the game. 1 for 2 for Whitehead. Reiser handing off. Copper Hills has not hit a 3 yet in the contest. The floater, Howick, scored.
You know, and hearing that stat surprises me. All the years we ever played Copper Hills when I was coaching, just straight pure shooters.
Yep. They've had good ones come through here, but This team has had to work at that, and they've had success the last couple of games, but tonight just hasn't been there. Tough look. My goodness, man. He's a freshman.
Just plays within himself. Confident. Plays with swagger. He's got a big chest right now. Look at him.
Here's Hymas. Pomerning looking inside. Blocked away by Whitehead. Maybe a little hesitation there trying to get a man in the air, but turns out on a run out and an and one as Carson Bagley scores it, and he'll head to the line here for the three-point play. And that's the third on Hymas.
You know, Coach Watkins is still hot. You know, and to his credit, you know, I feel like there's been similar plays, man, on both ends. And you got the foul count already 4-0 this half.
Right now, ball don't lie, the thought of Copper Hills fans. 6 minutes left to go here in the third. Into the corner. That three won't go. Backside board and put back for Hymas. I was curious if Coach Watkins was going to pull him, having picked up his third. He did not, and there's a benefit.
There's the benefit right there, right? And I feel like you let your senior play through, right? The senior's smart. He knows what he's got to be doing. He knows where his foul count's at. You need that leadership, and there he is again.
Here comes Kyson. 4 quick points for Hymas, and it's back to a 1-point game. That's end-to-end for the big man. In the paint, Tuller blocked away. Boy, Howick, nice job standing tall there. Miscommunication, Bingham turns it over.
You know, this game's been a complete shift of, like, momentum, right? It's been just a pure, you know, you got Copper Hills has scored 4 points in less than, 40 seconds, and got the ball back now after forcing a turnover there.
Could take the lead for, I think, the first time tonight. And we've got a foul here. Tuller going to pick it up. I think his second.
You know, see, I like that right there, right? Late rotation. Stay aggressive, though. Get some of these Bingham guys in foul trouble to allow yourself to be in a position to shoot some free throws down the stretch.
When you have a field with 4 quick fouls on Copper Hills, like, if you are aggressive, it's going to even itself out, right? But you have to make officials call it.
Absolutely. 2 quick turnovers for Bingham already. Down here and one right here.
Masui checking in here for Copper Hills. And into the corner. Ooh, that was online. How about the save by Pomerning? Reiser. Josh to the corner. Plenty of time here. And Reiser sensing that. He's a freshman too. That's a crafty play.
That's a heads-up play, right? Recognizes defenders on his hip. He's in a bad position to defend.
And I think that's the third on Tuller.
You know, even these coaches going back and forth. You got Coach Stratman, Coach Watkins fired up. Student section's fired up. Everybody bringing it all tonight, all out on the floor.
Coaches are getting their steps in. A lot of pacing. As Tuller having to come off the floor here with 3. So Coach Stratman electing, hey, starter with 3, going to sit him. He's going to need his bench to step up. As Reiser hits them both. The lead to Copper Hills, 31-30, 4.5 to go here in the third. And we've got shot clock didn't start.
You know, it's been fun this year. You know, somebody who coached in the non-shot clock era to watch the adjustments though that teams, players, and coaches have had to make.
Yep.
It's significantly altered the game. You know, I've attended a handful of high school basketball games this year, and it's been interesting. It's changed things, I'm sure, schematically for a lot of coaches.
Well, I was talking with a coach before the year began. I'm like, do you press more? It's like, absolutely. Right? Because if I can take 8-9 seconds off, and they've only got 26, 27 seconds to execute a play, you don't have to defend as long. And we've seen that.
And in the non-shot clock era, I'm so glad it finally came about, by the way, Dane.
Yeah.
Because in the non-shot clock era, I'll never forget when my heart was broken when we lost to Springville.
I don't want to talk about
overtime.
that game.
I don't
want to
either,
talk about that game.
Letting them sit on the ball for 2 minutes might have been one of the most painful things I recall being a part of.
Look, tip of the cap to Springville. That was a good team.
Great team.
But man, some of the calls in that game, I was like, why don't we just set them to the line before we even get the inbound?
Sure.
Like, anyway.
And they were a great team. Well coached, scrappy.
Yeah.
They had a couple of those teams there, right, in a few years in a row where teams of destiny. And you had the one team that knocked off Olympus that one year.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought, this team's built for this now, They weren't necessarily the favorite, but they did what they needed to do to make the plays they needed to make to win.
It's a great program, and I don't mean to jab Springville at all. Vicentin was a problem, right? I mean, he chewed guys up. And in 5A, it's like, good luck. And look, rode him and their great shooting to a state championship. Very balanced team Coach Snell had that year. But I think we got the shot clock all sorted out here, so Bingham will come back here with the ball. We still don't have a Ken Garf Honda downtown 3 for Copper Hills. 4.5 to go here in the third.
You know what's crazy to me is to watch the number of threes they've attempted, right?
Yes.
And they still are holding on to a 1-point lead.
It's incredible, isn't it? This game has the feels like they should be down by 8. They're not. And it's plays like that. We've said it from the tip. The defense has been locked in. The block there by Howick.
You want to talk about the term a tale of two halves. This Copper Hills team, just forces another turnover there. I mean, they look like a completely different team than they did the first quarter.
Well, and you can even talk about how the first 30 seconds start off. You have an offensive foul, 2 quick fouls. It's like, oh, boy. I mean, they've just been resilient tonight.
Resilient is a great word for it. I love it. Scrappy, guys getting after it, deflections, diving for loose balls.
I'm a
strong take.
Boy, and you see the help coming over there by Vance. He's trying to draw that charge. Just late, Hymas will head to the line for free throws.
I think that's a heads-up play. We've talked about him as a senior leader. Some kids would find a way out of that maybe. He recognizes that, right? He sees he's in a position. He has the advantage on the man. He's going to get the call. I love that take there.
Hymas didn't score in the first quarter. Unofficially, I've got him with 12.
Well, I'm not surprised that a senior leader is finding a way to put this team on his back to build this lead.
And by the way, a lot of that's been, 5 of that has been with 3 fouls here in the third. He picked that up with about 6+ to go. 3:45 left here in the frame. Pump fake there by Peterson. Boy, Whitehead's in the post. Give him the basketball. There you go. Too strong on the touch. And Pomeranian gets the deflection out. Pomeranian able to keep that. Man look here for Bingham. Pomeranian spinning, hanging, hitting. Just his second bucket, but the lead is 4 here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think at one point we were at 28-23 Bingham, and we've now got 34-30 the Grizzlies.
Offensive rebound, Whitehead able to get the putback. I thought the feet might have shuffled. Fans did as well, but score the bucket. Hymas attacking. How about going back to the right hand?
This kid came to play tonight.
14
I love it.
For Kyson. Jensen skips to the corner. Bagley fouled as he was going up. Substitutions, Alex Karchner on for Bingham, Boston Lamborn for Copper Hills. Now Hymas will come off. And I like that. He's exerted a lot of energy. You don't want to pick up a cheap one.
You know, and even on that play right there, right? Guy got by him. Instead of lets him go. But better than picking up that cheap foul and forcing him to sit a little longer.
And an offensive foul on Bingham. Jensen called for that wraparound. Copper Hills basketball. And they've got all the momentum right now.
Stratman out on the court letting him know that he did not like that call.
Yeah. Two minutes to go. Hand on the basketball, Bingham with the steal. Jensen, the other end, drawing the call. And Stratman was waiting to talk to officials this whole time. And it will be free throws here for KJ. Two here for KJ. That was the 6th team foul on Copper Hills. So Bingham will indeed be in the bonus the rest of the way. First point tonight for Jensen.
You know, this is interesting to me, the point you just made. In the bonus the rest of the night going forward, right?
Yep.
You wonder if that's going to force Copper Hills to change up their defensive game plan a little, just so you're not allowing cheap trips to the free throw line.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, their half-court D's been pretty good. Been good on the glass. You don't want to just give them open looks from 15 the rest of the game, right? Shot clock down to 15. 90 seconds left here in the third quarter. And a foul here. Going to be called on the defense of Karchner. And that'll be the 5th on Bingham. So just one more foul to give for the Miners here in the second half.
And at this rate, Dane, it's looking like, we're on pace for both teams to be shooting the bonus the whole fourth quarter.
Sure are.
It's going to come down to a little game of lightning.
It might. Tueller back on the floor here, playing with 3. The steal there by Peterson. Bingham pushing it up. Peterson works out. Jensen. This is on the floor. But he'll head to the line because it's bonus. So 1-1 here for KJ. Halleck called for his first. Starter's going to come back on. Widehour and Hymas checking in for Copper Hills. Front end of the 1-1 for KJ. Talking about Region 3, Riverton 5-0 in region play. Copper Hills 4-1, Bingham 3-2. Why this game is so important. Those were all close battles the first time around as KJ goes 2 for 2, but the winner of this one has a shot. Well, really, if Bingham wins, it's a 3-way race. If Copper Hills wins, that probably eliminates Bingham from a region title contention.
You know, and what's always interesting to me about any region matchup, right, at any level, you never know what can happen on any given night.
Yeah.
It really is, as cliche as it sounds, it's so true.
Sui, an offensive rebound, dribbling into traffic, dual possession. Good hands there by Peterson. Arrow will keep it here on the Certified Fleet Management jump ball. .46 seconds left here in the quarter. Shot clock reset. Nope, 31 they'll put it at. My apologies. Little fadeaway Widehour. Couldn't get it to go. Been a quiet night for Logan. He averages 20. He had 27 in the first matchup. Just has 4 tonight.
You know, I feel like defensively, Bingham has certainly altered offensive looks for a lot of these players for Copper Hills.
Yeah. Shot clock and game clock are about trued up right now. So this could be the last possession should Coach Stratman want that. Tuller playing out, 10 seconds to go. Final 5 seconds. They send it out, 3 on the way from Bagley is off the mark. And we head to the fourth, much like we started. 36 apiece. Bingham, Copper Hills, the fourth quarter coming up next. Welcome back. Copper Hills basketball presented by Ken Garf, only on the Rewind Sports Network. Dane Stewart, Dallas Saxton with you tonight. Man, what a ball game, Coach.
You know, I've enjoyed every minute of this broadcast. This has just been an electric atmosphere. This is one of those games, you know, I really don't want to see either one of these teams lose because
right.
I feel like both of these teams have played at a level that they have earned the opportunity to win.
Yeah. Oh, Hymas, and there's a jump ball. Boy, Luke West, I love the attack, but Hymas there able to get the block, and the certified fleet management jump ball will give it back to Copper Hills.
And a great heads-up play, right, by a senior in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Straight up. Good way to get the ball back early on in this start of this fourth quarter.
How about Bingham showing pressure for the first time tonight? A little token zone here.
You know, that call does surprise me a little bit because you would hate for a guy to pick up a cheap foul there. And you're playing tied right now, you know,
Yeah.
if you're playing from behind. Understand the concept of that.
Whitehour deflected by Whitehead. He's been a beast in the paint tonight defensively.
He's been great. I've been really impressed with that kid. You know, I've loved the way that he's just been there to help everybody on the back end of the defense.
Whitehour here going to be called for the third, and you see that hard closeout, and it opens up that driving lane for KJ, who's going back to the line again.
And it's going to be a game of who hits free throws, right?
Yeah.
You know, for years I coached, there's 3 things. If you win 3 statistical categories, you typically win games. Made free throws, eliminating turnovers, rebounds. When you win those categories, it's not often you see teams on the losing end.
You know, it was one of the things Coach Watkins talked about before the game. He said, look, it's little things for us, right? It's eliminating turnovers. It's just small things. We don't have to go and do anything phenomenal. We just got to be good at the fundamentals of small things. And to your point.
And they've certainly improved on those the second half. This is a different Copper Hills team than what we got in the first quarter. I'm excited to see how this game plays out down the stretch for both of these teams.
Here's Reiser. Boy, KJ nearly with the steal there. Pomerning over with Howick. 10 on the shot clock. Ashton driving. Wouldn't go. Pomerning fouled on the rebound. That'll be the 6th team foul. So that's the last foul to give for Bingham. There's Kyson. Where do you go here offensively, Coach?
You know, I like giving it to your senior. I really like Kyson. I feel like he's come on. It looks like a different player in the second half. You know, I would like to see the riser kid continue to be aggressive and get into the paint, maybe looking to kick. I feel like some of these threes, they're going to fall, right? They're a shooting team. I feel like you shouldn't necessarily steer clear from the good looks that you get from out there.
Whitehead had the offensive board, was stripped away, and it might have been Hymas that had the initial strip. Riser blocked at the rim by Whitehead.
That's right. I like that take. I really do. You know, I feel like he should go up on the first one, but it goes back to my point. I like seeing Riser get more involved offensively for this team.
I feel like Copper Hill's been trying to get Whitehead and others in the air, and he's done a really good job of just staying down and protecting his verticality.
He's been very smart, using his length to his advantage, not leaving the ground like you said. So kept him out of foul trouble. And there we go.
The first Ken Garf Honda downtown three tonight for Copper Hills, coming from Ashton Howick to give him the lead.
And that goes back to what I'm saying, right? You get those driving kicks. Don't stop shooting, right? Let your shooter shoot still. That ball will find its way down.
Oh, West with the ball fake and the turnaround. 16 for Luke.
And while we were just on the topic of who you go for Copper Hills, that's exactly what I was going to say to go to if you're being a minor.
Baseline taken away. Here's Riser. Hymas looking to attack, going right at Whitehead and draws the foul. Kyson continues to show his aggressiveness.
I love that. And that's the first time we've seen, you know, him come down on a guy, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't straight vertical there defensively. But again, I love this senior taking the leadership, taking the reins, taking control of this team offensively in this second half.
Kyson 2 for 2. He's got 16. 40 apiece. Oh, sorry. 41-40, my bad. Copper Hills out in front. And there's going to be a foul on Riser. One and one here for KJ Jensen, who's been the guy living at the line. He has 6 points all in the second half, all from the free throw line.
You know, and this is why this kid's probably still in the game, right? I always think about it as a coach. You want your guys in the game that are going to make plays for you down the stretch. This is something as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who's reliable and can step up and knock down big shots right here.
2 for 2 again. 8 for Caden.
Back and forth we go, huh?
Yep. Hymas handing off, Pomerantine turning in the paint.
Love the move.
You get the defensive switch. Let Pomerantine go at the smaller defender. West pull up, no. Here's Pomerantine. Inside, Masui. Sui wouldn't go, gets his own miss, but a foul. And look, Whitehead on the bench. Copper Hill's going right at the rim.
I love it. Stay aggressive. And that's just being aware, right? You teach your players, right? Basketball's a game of matchups. They've recognized, they've attacked it, and they're benefiting from it right now.
Miles Masui to the line. 1 and 1 here for the junior. Off the back of the rim, rebounded by West. Approaching the midway point here of our fourth quarter. Here's West. The dribble out. Riser defending. Pulling up from 15. It's almost like a cheat code at this point.
Dane, I've just never seen somebody so smooth in his game at such a young age, truthfully.
Here's Riser. Hymas trying to post up KJ. Good backside help by Tula, really denies that. Shot clock inside of 10. Reiser handing off. 5 on the shot clock. Hymas kicking. Here's Masui. Sui stepping around. And they call the block. It'll count the bucket.
Great play, great finish, late in the shot clock. Stayed poised, right? Extra pass. I love it.
I thought KJ might have had positioning. I'm actually kind of surprised we aren't going the other way on that one. But the official's right underneath. I'm half
Good
court.
call. And here we are again. Back and forth we go.
46-44. Copper Hills. 3:10 to go. And a foul here going to be called on Masui Sui. That might be a makeup call.
You know, if there ever was one, I think that is one, right?
And I don't say that to question officials, right? But a lot of calls can be kind of 50-50. And when you get kind of two 50-50s, you try to split it. I'm not an official, never have been. That's just my own logic thinking there.
No, absolutely. And I've always told people this too, right? The difficulty of high school, we don't get replay like everybody else does.
Thank goodness, by the way. Backley makes his first. Go ahead.
I feel like that makes it, a little harder to decide. You watch replays as fans on TV in college games, NBA games, and you always have a second opinion, right? Well, with that call, we won't get it.
Bagley, 46-45 off the made free throws. 46-46. Sorry, I'm a little ahead of myself. Can I just tell you, nobody's interested in just watching replay after replay. I would hope that more advanced levels of this sport would understand that, but they seem to lean into it more. I don't
Absolutely.
get it. Hymas the 3 off the mark, cleared by Bingham.
And it slows down the game, right? The replay.
Yes.
I don't enjoy that
and the atmosphere.
aspect of
Imagine this gym if we were stopping every 30 seconds to go to a monitor. It just sucks the air out of it. We don't need that. So anyway, I'm not the biggest replay guy. Here's West. Count it, and that's number 4 on Hymas. They called it with the body. And West here with a chance at a 3-point play. Doesn't go, gets his own miss. Peterson nearly lost it. Whitehead trying to fight for it, has it. And we've got a timeout taken here by Bingham first. Timeout, Bingham, full timeout. We'll take it and be back after this. You're watching Copper Hills basketball on the Rewind Sports Network. Welcome back. New Utah Jazz camps and clinics are available now. There are options at the state-of-the-art Shoe 360 facility and at local gyms throughout Utah and Idaho for your child to level up their shooting, passing, and ball handling skills. Plus, each camper receives a Utah Jazz swag bag. Register today at utahjazzcamps.com. Just over 2 to play, 48-46. Bingham basketball. Where do you go here?
I like playing through your guys, right? I love the ball in West's hands right now.
He's open.
He's been a gamer all night. Ooh, I don't mind that look for him.
I don't either. That's a good look for West. That looked like it was online and going in. We'll get a timeout here taken by Copper Hills. We'll stay here. Coach, look, this is a family program. Give us a good story from your coaching days. We'll stay basketball.
Stay basketball.
Yeah.
Man, I've had so many great stories from my coaching days. My favorite group basketball-wise that I ever coached was that group with Trevin Nell, Trevor Trost, Taylor Smith and company. We went 22-3, had actually still school best record at Woods Cross we posted there. And obviously the run came to an end when we ran into a scrappy and well-coached Springville team in the quarterfinals. But man, what a journey that was. That was the funnest year of coaching I've ever had. We're talking coaching the high-level players, high basketball IQs. They just made the game fun, and they liked each other. They liked playing for each other.
That makes such a big difference when you have a good culture at a program, starters, bench guys, that locker room atmosphere. Huge.
Absolutely. And we have it here with these two programs.
Yes.
What a finish we'll get.
Well, that could have been big for Whitehour and the Grizzlies as he gets the offensive rebound. The foul here going to go on West, but it will be free throws coming up, 2 of them for Logan Whitehour. Third personal on Luke West.
2 huge, biggest free throws of the game thus far.
Whitehour hasn't scored since the first quarter. That's his first points since the opening quarter.
Biggest point of the game, too.
Got one more. Too strong. Whitehead with the board. Final 90 seconds of regulation. West back with Bagley. Has space from 15. No. And rebounded by Copper Hills. They can take the lead here. Here's Hymas. Pomering back with Kyson.
Back in his hands.
Yep.
That's the guy I would go to.
Gets his own miss.
Throws it, yes.
I'll tell you what. I thought Kyson's off arm kind of came in. There's a no call there, which I have no problem with, but sticks with it, gets his own miss in the putback.
I love it, right? You always talk about late in games. You have your guys you go to, right? You have your guys that have the green light that regardless of the outcome, you live with it, good or bad. And I feel like for Copper Hills, it's number 35 in Hymas.
Yeah. He's got 18 right now. And, for me, it's like a foul is a foul, but I don't want to call touch stuff in the final 2 minutes, right?
I don't like that, I totally agree with you, Dane. I feel like, you let these kids play it out. Let the defenses work. If it's a hard foul, understandable. The touch fouls in a region battle like this with all that's on the line tonight, you got to let them play through it.
The lead back to Copper Hills, 54 seconds left. Do you like 2 for 1 here if you're Bingham?
I do. From the simple standpoint that you're down by 1, you get the ball back. Even if Copper Hill goes down and score, you still have an opportunity to retake the lead or tie.
Here's West. Boy, he wanted that step back. Masuisui, good closeout. Bingham working around. Bagley. 40 seconds to go. And there goes your 2 for 1 opportunity. Tueller. Good D by Howick. Shot clock down to 15. And we've got a timeout taken here by Bingham with 12 left on the shot clock.
It's interesting. I don't know if Coach Stratman was looking for just to use some clock, because a couple opportunities maybe to put the ball on the floor and get some looks or even some shots that were okay shots, and settled to call a timeout, maybe to drop a different play.
Dane Stewart here with Dallas Saxton, and want to take a moment. Dallas, sharp speed training.
Sharp
Venture
speed
you've
training.
started. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so a good friend of mine and my business partner, Logan Edmonds, coach at Viewmont High. We've met through the coaching world, and we had an opportunity fall into our lap last summer where we ran a summer program for Club V basketball. And we've started this venture where we're doing speed and agility training for all athletes of all ages across the state. We train out of Salt Lake City at an indoor facility just west of the airport off of Wright Bros Way. We've had a lot of feedback. We've got kids from different parts of the state, kids from as far north as Kaysville, all the way to kids coming from Tooele.
Wow. Well, we've seen great speed and agility tonight. Bingham's going to have the basketball, 12 seconds left. You looking for West? You going inside with Whitehead here?
I like going to your guy all night. Give him the rock. He's playing confident.
The first field goal of the night for KJ on the baseline drive gives Bingham the lead.
Big shot there.
18 seconds left and a timeout by Copper Hills. How about KJ? His 10th point, but that his first field goal.
You know what's crazy? I wouldn't have expected this game to be any other way this late in the game.
A full timeout taken by Copper Hills. Where do you go here, Dallas?
I go through Hymas, man. I like him. I like him right now. I've liked him for 3 quarters. I feel like you find a way to get either a mismatch, maybe set a high ball screen for him, or get him to catch the elbow. You know, he's gotten a couple catches in the elbow high post area where he's gotten himself to the basket, and he's going strong right now. I feel like you get him there. If he gets fouled, I trust the senior to knock down these big free throws in the late game situation like this.
What a game we've had. The first one went overtime, 62-60. Bingham looking for revenge tonight. And look, this region, we talk about how tight it is at the top of the region. It doesn't get any easier for Copper Hills. They'll take on Harriman next. They won that game in a blowout. They made like 10 threes in that one. The long ball was there, but they're worried about Heron tonight trying to stay within a game of this Region 3 title.
You know, it's like you always taught, right? You got to play the games, right, as they come.
Yeah.
You know, not get too far ahead of yourself and trust yourself where you're at.
Hymas inbounding, gets it back. 15 seconds left. Kyson attacking, blocked away at the rim. Great help there by Whitehead. It'll be Copper Hills basketball.
I love the take, though. I love the take. That's the guy wanting the ball in his hands. We got another timeout here, but I love that. Great defensive play by Bingham, but that's the guy I still go back to.
Full timeout. We'll take it with them. Be back with the final 13 seconds after this. Welcome back. Copper Hills basketball presented by Ken Garf. They'll have it when we're going to take a timeout. 30 seconds, we're going to stay here. Coach, I just gave you a full 60 seconds to think. If you're Copper Hills, what do you run here?
You know, again, I like getting your ball to your senior, right? I understand why defensively, you know, it's a little bit of game of cat and mouse right now. They want to see what kind of set they're coming out in. You know, one of my favorite plays coming out in that set they were in with 2 guys at the elbows, 2 guys on the blocks, was running back picks, cross screens, rolling to the basket. You get a cheap foul here, you got to trust your guy's going to knock him down.
How quick are you looking to score? I know a lot of coaches that want to score off the inbound, but do you want to give Bingham the ball back with 10 seconds left?
I'm a firm believer in if you have an opportunity and a good look, not a good look, a great look, I should say, take it.
Okay.
Regardless of the time, take the lead if it's there to be taken.
Riser to inbound. Widehour working baseline to Hymas. Too strong, and a foul on the loose ball. Boy, that is a great look for Kyson Hymas. He would love to have that one back. We're going to walk down and take free throws with the Miners.
Hey, it's the guy I said, I trust that. Hey, and that's something you got to live with. I think, the good news for Copper Hills, there's still 8 seconds left here for them.
Widehour just fouled out. 5 points tonight for Logan, well below his average. Bingham keyed on him. They made his night tough. His night will come to a conclusion here. So 2 free throws here for Tueller. Would still be a 1-possession game, even if he makes them both and he makes the first. Whitehead coming off the floor. He had great help off that inbound, too. We didn't get to talk about it. Great help denied Hymas off the inbound. Second free throw, Tueller makes them both. Final Copper Hills timeout taken. It's a full.
And at this point, you know what you're playing for, right? Coach Watkins, I know he's going to come up with something great. He's one of the best coaches I've ever coached against. Got to know him a little bit through all of our matchups, at Woods Cross, Copper Hills matchups. I really believe, though, you find a way to put your best shooters in the game, right? Not even if they're your starters. Find a way to put your best shooters in the game because you know what you're playing for here with only 8 seconds left.
So if you're Bingham, do you foul and not let him get a look at a three? Do you run that risk?
You always worry about situationally what that could create and what it could turn into. I know a lot of coaches who play it that way, though, right? They're up by 3, less than 10 seconds left. The bad news for the Grizz, if Bingham does play that route, the Grizz are out of timeouts now, according to the scoreboard. I don't know if that's accurate, but, I feel like, I don't know, with the way Bingham's played tonight, I think you let them play it out. They've played so well defensively. You talk about the shots they've limited, some of these top scorers for Copper Hills. I think you let your guys play it out. They've definitely played a phenomenal defensive game.
So there's just been one made three tonight for Copper Hills. It was Ashton Howick. Who do you have taking this shot? Did you go with Ashton?
I like that, yeah. I think you go with your next best guy, right?
Final 5. Reiser looking for help. Howick, 2 seconds left for the tie. It won't go. The Bingham defense holds, and the Miners get revenge, 52-49.
What a game, right? Split this season. What a great matchup. Split 1-1 for a reason, right? It's pretty clear to me these teams are pretty evenly matched up, and I wouldn't be surprised if you find these two teams down the road playing in the state playoffs.
Pending action tonight, Riverton may have a 2-game lead atop Region 3 because Bingham gets the win. Coach, your final thoughts and a player of the game.
First of all, I appreciate you having me on the call tonight, Dane. I was so impressed with that Luke West. The fact that people told me he's a freshman, it had me baffled. Because, any freshman I know doesn't know how to handle this level of pressure. The way he handled himself all night, got his teammates involved, had some great defensive plays, and he's a 3-level scorer, right? Can finish at the basket. He's got a nice mid-range pull-up, and even opened up the game hitting that big 3 right down here. So I'm going to have to give it to Luke West.
The Miners have found their stride. They continue to improve as this season goes on. I want to congratulate Luke West. Unofficially 20 points for him tonight to lead Bingham 52-49. For Jaron Mulford, Tino Psyche, Dallas Saxton, my name is Dane Stewart. Thank you for joining us in a classic. And a reminder, we've got Copper Hills basketball coming up for you again next week, only on the Rewind Sports Network, presented by Ken Garff. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night, everybody.